Okay, so trying out Fort Zombie wasn't working out, so we're gonna move on to a game by the same company, except this one doesn't crash, which is good because Fort Zombie's crashed like 10 times now. Moving on to this one for the time being. We'll see Fort Zombie if it comes back or not. We'll see. Do enjoy both this and Fort Zombie quite a lot though. Though with Fort Zombie, I've actually beaten that game. I've not beaten this one. This one's too hard. Even though I am playing on normal. You know what? Well, yeah. We'll just new game, normal, entrance, and the one I've had the most experience with, the engineer. Yes, erase previous progress. Take a second to remember the controls here. Okay, so we're gonna want knife, crowbar, gun, and grenades. We want to equip the crowbar, and actually we need to unequip the armor, because although I haven't beaten this, I do have a vague idea of what I need to do to beat it. That being, I need to ration supplies as best as I can. So no reason to wear the armor until I fight something that is a little more challenging than a penguin that just doesn't move. Granted, your armor only gets damaged if you get damaged, but I'm going to be taking a lot of hits early on from meleeing everything, because I also want to save these bullets. I only have 100. Come on, penguin. Sometime today. Sure is a lot of misses. This seems very familiar. There we go. And he didn't give me anything. Let's see. Any trees? There's no trees down there. There's these trees, but those don't do anything. Oh, we got a tree here. We're gonna get the gun out. You gotta be careful with the trees. There's a high chance it'll spawn a bunch of enemies. Okay, rats I can fight. Maybe. And it's only just one rat. You can get some high-level enemies out of this stupid tree, and they can just kill you in one turn, which sucks, but you are on the first floor, so dying instantly isn't that bad. So as the engineer, and for the uninitiated, very weak in terms of strength and whatnot, but has the potential to become very strong through his level ups, because I believe he gets the most skill points out of everyone when he levels up. So I can only assume, I actually haven't made it to the end game, but I assume he can just steamroll towards the end if all of his stats are, you know, 100. I wouldn't know. I haven't gone there. It's very sad. In terms of what to level up, I'm gonna ignore, I think, all of the mind powers. I don't think they're worth it. I think because some of these you gotta put like 30 skill points into before you can even do the base level thing. It's also not really worth it to invest in anything under 20 or under 45. 45, or I guess 44 and below, can be trained through practice. So it's only the things that are extremely low that you're bound to fail every time, and thus can't train them, or things that are infrequent enough. Like, say foraging. Foraging's gonna be really frequent the first couple, but I'd rather have it a little higher and hopefully chain all of these together so that my foraging gets to 45 and then keep upgrading that. Because I believe foraging directly relates to how much loot you get per box. Medical's probably pretty fine right now. Biotech would be cooking. I don't think we really need that. You can pretty easily, from murdering all these rats, you'll get a bunch of meat, and just you can cook 10 meat in a row and get that up to 45, and then you start working there. Traps is, I'm pretty sure, useless, other than detecting traps, which is another thing. I don't have a spear or a blade. I do have a knife, but I can train the knife pretty easily. Decipher, I think, is pretty good because that'll help me unlock new recipes. Heavy weapons, I don't have one of those, or an assault weapon, or a rifle, really. I think engineering is only used for very few things, so I don't think we need to worry about that. Computer, mechanical, electronics, and lockpick are really where this guy excels, because he starts with things to help him do all of these. We have, you can actually exit out here and check. We have an electronic toolkit, which helps. We have a crowbar, like this is for electronics, this is for mechanical, this is for computer, and this is for lockpicking. So it's a lot easier to train those up since we have something to help us train there. And with how many doors there are, lockpicking is way, way too easy to train up to 45. So I think we want to take these, or at least 2 of the skill points, to put them into some sort of gun. I think we'd either do assault weapons or heavy weapons, because there's a good chance we'll find something that uses either of those. I'm just not sure. I suppose I'll do assault weapons. Let's see, assault weapons, that would be machine guns. I don't know which category shotgun is under. I think shotguns are fairly common, and I don't know which one. I think this would be like the ones with heavy caliber bullets, but I don't know if a shotgun would be there or not. But I think it's definitely worth leveling up, considering it's only 1. And I really don't have anywhere else to put this extra point, do I? Besides melee. But I'm gonna get melee from the crowbar. I think the crowbar is melee. Okay, I think I'm going to put it into assault weapons and hope for a assault rifle. And then everything, in terms of stat point, you really, really need to go for might, because the main issue is you can get diseased, and disease checks your might to whether or not you can fight the disease off or not. And the longer you're diseased, the lower your might gets, and if your might ever gets to 0, you die. So if you start with level 3 disease and you fell once, then your might goes down, it gets down to 30, so you only have like a 30% chance to fight the next one off, and it very easily snowballs to killing you. So I think that's what we're going to go with for the time being. Just continue to fight these bats. The crowbar is very, very nice. It has 105 durability compared to the 15 your knife has. And the sharpening kit can repair it too. So really, those knives aren't all that necessary. Nothing found. That was unfortunate. This is the guy I'm worried about the most. The rabbit bat is what will disease you. So I really should just shoot him. Even then, rabbit bats aren't that bad. It's the enlarged virus. I think the enlarged virus maybe shoots you up to 3 disease instantly, which is a lot to fight off. That's 3 separate checks to see whether or not you go up or down in terms of disease ability or whatnot. Okay, let's see here. Go right. Rats are very easy to kill. These are a little weird because you can activate them from the side or on top. There's not really anything else like that except for hey, there's a nutrient bath that you can do that maybe way far down. I'm not sure if I've ever actually successfully used a nutrient bath, though. Just use this. More bats. Really lacking on the whole raw meat front. We got 2, 3 more floors where we can have rats. Still nothing though. Oh, and we're infected. Okay, well, let's see if we can fight the disease off. We're only... See, it's already -1. This is why it's so bad to be infected. If I don't get this initial roll, I'm just gonna medkit down. Just keep missing that rat. I don't know why the rats are green. I guess they're rock rats. I'm getting no meat out of any of them. Wow, okay. Ah, disease cured. Okay, we've done it. 100 more rats. Okay. See that melee skill's going up, so yeah, we really don't have to worry about melee. We are gonna have to shoot the rabbits. Oh, he's gonna run, isn't he? Yep. Okay, hello, rabbit. Come on. There we go. That's 1 meat. I do think it's worth wasting bullets on the rabbit for meat. I tend to starve to death before I die of no bullets. Usually it's starving to death or all my guns are broken. I had one run where I had power armor and the crowbar, and that's all I had left. That one was goofy. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and heal up. We shouldn't have any issues. You want to be careful when going down to the next floor because it's gonna be a room full of enemies, and it could be a room full of enemies with guns. But we shouldn't. I don't think you can run into a guy with a gun until the 3rd floor. I think we're just gonna go ahead and level up anyway, just in case. Maybe it's a bunch of those spiders. Now watch out for the spiders. Okay, so we'll put another one in foraging. I want that to be as high as possible. I think other than that, probably put 1 into assault weapons, 1 into rifle, and another one into decipher. I don't really know how good decipher is. It's good now because it helps me with... That is psionics. I want the Sots deck. With finding messages and decoding them. But once I have all these decoded, I'm not sure how good Decipher is really going to be. Okay, there was no one in this first room. That's actually good. But we do have Shadow Bat and another Ice Bat. Not really an issue. The Shadow Bat is more against people who are using their psionics, because they drain psi points. I think they do. I know some. Yeah, they do. I know the later ones do. I can remember if the earliest ones do. Okay, they're down. Keeps missing the rats, but we are building up that meat stockpile. So we really just need to find 1 stove somewhere. Also, this is why you take the armor off. You're not really taking any damage, but every time you get hit, there's a chance your armor gets damaged. And with how many times I've been hit so far, there's a good chance this thing would have already been down. Because, like, I'm already -10 from just me hitting things, and I'm usually getting hit multiple times per round. So it would probably be maybe even down 20 points there, saying how often I get hit. Granted, even then, this armor isn't all that great, but when you're getting shot at, it's better than nothing. And he just keeps missing, doesn't he? Poor engineer. There's a ruined crate. Come on. Well, on the bright side, my favorite enemies are the rats. They do drop meat. Though I really need, you need these, and from the little worm enemies, their teeth to make lockpicks, and I think those are very important to have too. I have not seen any of the little worm enemies though. I don't know if anyone else drops it. The bats drop the bindings sometimes. I think they also maybe drop the bone shards. They don't do the teeth. Now here's the kitchen, but everything's broken. We do have door traps. The ideal way to deal with a door trap is to drop everything but one piece of garbage and walk through, because there's a number of things the door traps could be, and one of them is destroy a random item, which could be very bad. But since there's like 10 different door traps a run, it's too boring to do, so I just run through and hope for the best. Okay, that didn't do anything, so that has to be recharge an item, since all my items are fully charged and nothing bad happened. Usually if you walk through and nothing bad happens, it's either an item couldn't be recharged or you had like full psi or full health maybe. Here's a little robot. The little robot's not an issue. The worst he can do is daze you, which causes you to only have one movement per turn as opposed to 2. But really not an issue. This completely changes if he was green or red. Those are the worst enemies ever. We'll get to them when we get to them. Okay, so. And bleeding, that's not great. Bleeding doesn't really do anything. It just means you're near death, I guess. He's also near death. We're gonna shoot to make sure we don't die. Really, I could have moved away one square at a time, but his movement is the same as mine or more, so moving wouldn't have changed anything. Nonetheless, he had some issues mentally and went the wrong way, but that's not gonna happen. More points in a might. I usually try and get might up to about the same as finesse, and then try and get them up equally. Or it changes because sometimes you'll find a gun that needs a certain level of something, and I'll just try and put all the points into that to use the gun. So same as before, we're gonna do foraging. Don't need to do lockpick. Pistol's good. Probably do assault weapons and rifle again. And I guess we can save the 1 point. Because they do save, I think. Pretty sure. Check the desk. These desks are always so hard to open. I don't know why. It's a desk. You wouldn't think rummaging through it would be so difficult. 74%. Well, it's not really 74% chance to decrypt this, but more as 74% of this message will be decrypted. Well, I guess if you were to count 74% chance for each word, it's the same sort of deal as 74% chance 74% of the message would be decoded. But in how it works anyway, how it ends up coming out is 74% of the message is decoded. So sometimes you can kind of figure out what it's making. So a pair of Nova fruit and an avian carcass makes a main dish. So sometimes, like right now, I would assume I can probably make this dish if I found 2 Nova fruit and an avian carcass. Sometimes they'll have like all the ingredients except for one down to the top or the bottom, so it's not to resist, and like this would say, oh, make sure you put duct tape or something. So you can't be 100% sure until you actually decode it or try it yourself. Let's see, what does this one do? Oh, and there go all the food pellets. Okay, so black is awful. It could be worse. It could have been the gun. Food pellets aren't really that important. I don't remember if I actually found any in the the goo with the rotting piles. So long as it wasn't the rations or the meat pile, I think I'm good. Come on. There we go. Bat down. Check the storage pod. Oh, we got rifle parts. Okay. So I think I do have a recipe for rifle parts. Or at least one of the messages gives me part of the knowledge to make a rifle, but I don't actually remember what it is. That's a pistol. Lots of pistols. Rage beam? Rage beam. I can make it the rage beam. Okay. So we just need Hyper Brain Crystal, Sonic Noodle, or Nodule, and bindings. So this is from the bats. This is from the bats that drain my psi. This is from the ant guys, and I have that. Disease cures itself. So there's a chance I may actually be able to make that gun. See, white. We don't know what white is yet.